Hey, I hope you can hear me. My device, I don't know, it's just not loud. Um, okay, this is um, the serotonin syndrome. I've made other videos, but um, so this is partly. I'm gonna leave a link at the end of this. It's called the Libby Zion law, and I got it wrong in one of my videos. I kind of mistook something. The Libby Zion law is because a woman got the serotonin syndrome, and she went to a hospital, and and they were just internists, and they had been working for a long period of time. She wasn't recognized for the serotonin syndrome, given the wrong stuff. Horrible stuff happened to her. Um, and so they didn't recognize it, and so I'll leave what happened with that. Um, and so what caused me the serotonin syndrome is the same medication, and luckily I wasn't given meperidine, which is Demerol, but it could have easily happened because I did end up in hospital, and I was yelling in pain, like as loud as someone can yell. I had a hypertensive crisis, and my temples and my eyes were hurting so much from it. And I don't know what they put me out with. I think it was just, it was either intravenous or intramuscular Benadryl. But it did, I believe it lowered my blood pressure, and I woke up, and it wasn't like that anymore. Um, but imagine in that much pain, they could have given me Demerol. They wouldn't have known. So I thought in another video that, and I said in another video that I thought it was the Libby Zion law was the recognition of this, and that doctors had to know what this is post 1999, and that may be true, but I think it's still I think it's still the same. I think a lot of doctors don't know what the serotonin syndrome is, or at least how to diagnose more mild cases. And when it comes to severe cases, well, so I'm going to get into my story. Sorry, it's kind of rough to breathe. I just went for a walk. It's like this every day at this time. So the Libby Zion law, I took the same medication as this woman did. Phenelzine Nardil is an MAO inhibitor. Before I took it, I had no physical illness of any kind ever in my life. Nothing. I took it, I developed myoclonus, then I developed a hypertensive crisis, and my mental status changes for over a year. The doctor that I had, he told me to my face, "I'm afraid you're going to litigate." The next meeting that I had scheduled, he blocked me from walking into his house. It was in his house. He had a practice in his house. I don't doctor any of that. I don't, that's what he did. He didn't recognize it, so he just let me go, and he left me with a big prescription. Same with my neurologist. Didn't know if it was neuroleptic malignant syndrome, didn't know if it was in my head. And what they both didn't piece together was this guy had never been sick before this. Did I have mental issues before that? Yes. That's why I chose to use a refractory depression medication, which is the MAO inhibitors for refractory depression and anxiety. That part isn't in question. I took this medication. I wasn't the same person ever again. And if you have a person that wasn't physically ill beforehand, and he takes a medication and spontaneously develops myoclonus, you're supposed to suspect the serotonin syndrome. And this wasn't mild. This was severe. But beyond that, what makes it even worse is I didn't just develop that, I developed myoclonus with a hypertensive crisis. And it still went past them. It still went past them. So this is the way it was for me. And the way it left me, after a year and 1 month, after taking away the medication, the side effects did disappear, but I was left with many things, seizures of just an undefined, things that were never wrong with me before, and I was left in a very large amount of pain. Sorry, my pain's quite bad right now. And so I make this video to say of the trail of destruction that this led for me. Very difficult day today, holy fuck. This happens every time I put in like a new CBD. CBD does this to me. Holy crap, just one little thing of it. But I have to use this stuff because I'm in so much pain. So after that, I ended up in a huge amount of pain, of which is chronic regional pain syndrome. Started in my neck, went up, occipital neuralgia around my face, my eyes, my forehead, and then it spread out like wildfire through my body. Just a lot of physical burning and aching, CRPS. Because I developed this syndrome, and I went on for years not questioning, not wondering, but never, you have a very severe reaction like the serotonin syndrome, and when you take it away and you're left in permanent disability, of course you're going to wonder what it is, and it's only years later that I know what it is. But the thing is it's gone. I can't prove it. You can't prove what's gone, right? You can't prove what's gone. And the trail of destruction it left, in my honest opinion, from anything I can find that's happened to someone, aside from death, I really can't find anything worse in my story of the trail of destruction. By year 3 of CRPS, I shot myself with a crossbow. It was a weapon of opportunity. It was around. They call CRPS a suicide disease, so I shot myself. I got severe adhesions. They had to open me up. The crossbow went right through. Now I have adhesions, all across my ribs, sternum, my pelvis. But, that wasn't enough. I developed, the splenic flexure syndrome because of that. I couldn't breathe. I was stuck in bed. And then I hung myself. That's the way my life went. I hung myself. I deprived myself of air as well, too. I have so many injuries, and I have, on most days, I would say half days, half the time, I'm having a very difficult time, a very, very difficult time. Of what I can count, I have 26 separate disorders. Whether half of them are just one thing, it doesn't matter. But because of the serotonin syndrome and because of non-recognition, that passed right through the first doctor who chose just to throw me away, and then the neurologist of who I saw for quite a period of time didn't recognize this. I find criminal. I do. If they suspected neuroleptic malignant syndrome, why didn't they suspect serotonin syndrome? And a lot of people may say, well, Dave, why didn't you just take Nardil away? And I was out of it. I was completely out of it. And I was also really manic and then really dysphoric, up, down, up, down. That's the way it was. And I got to the point where I believe I was afraid to take it away to see what would happen. But after a period of time, became aware that, yes, I did have to take it away. I took 1/3 of it away, then the other third, and things started to go down, and then it disappeared, and I was left in a huge amount of pain. And then it started with shooting myself, and so I'm left in a very tough place where I literally can't find another story like mine, and I don't know how to live properly. I try my best, and I think what makes me more angry than anything is the fact that I believe that I should be able to hold those two people accountable for this and sue the medical profession because of the trail of destruction that's left behind. You better believe that I'm leaving out a massive amount of this story. I tried to take my life over and over because of what the serotonin syndrome did to me. That's it. Anyways, I'll leave a link below, and my pain right now is kind of hyper. It's kind of hyper, and this CBD I use, I'm glad I didn't take 2 puffs today. I just took 1, but it's quite strong right now. Anyways, that's what the serotonin syndrome did to me.